Welcome back, trainers. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Twilight Cup here. First off, we're going to be going up against Cooper Copper. Here he's starting it off with the Azumarill, and I'm going in with the Skuntank. Then he's going to switch off into that Nidoking. I'm going to bring in my Toxicroak because of that Mud Bomb there, and preserve the charge move on my Skuntank. He's going to block that first one. We're looking pretty good, although that bite is tearing into my health quite nicely, and I'm going to block that, of course, because Nidoqueen does have single charge moves doing a massive damage, and I was expecting that Earthquake. He's going to be bringing in that Azumarill, and I will be letting him finish me off because there's no point. I did have some energy, but I was in a good position with the Skuntank having that Sludge Bomb ready to go. He is going to take that hit there, and I will be able to finish off that Azumarill with my Poison Jab and preserve my charge move for the next Pokemon. Now, he should be using his shield here because it is his last Pokemon, of course, so you want to preserve that health as much as possible. Going to go ahead and go with that Sludge Bomb yet again onto that Umbreon because it's going to be neutral damage and I will be getting stabbed here. Going to let him take me out because there's no point in saving that. I do have an Azumarill, and with that Play Rough, I'm in a good position. There's no way he could take me out, especially with the shield there. I did decide to shield just for the heck of it. I didn't really need to, and going to do that super effective Play Rough damage onto that Umbreon and finish the game there. So that was a good match, and we're going to go into the next one here, folks. So I didn't end up using my Dustox. Yeah, isn't that fun? Spent all that Stardust and still didn't use it. So probably in the next tournament, right? Because there will be one at the end of the month. So he's starting it off with the Drifloon. I did hit him up with that Flamethrower. He took the hit, and I certainly wasn't going to use the shield right here yet because I wanted to preserve the health. I did do it here because I did have the energy gain, and that Icy Wind did do a good amount of damage. So we're just going to see what he's going to bring out and go ahead and go with that Sludge Bomb onto that Umbreon there. Flamethrower is a good option, but why not go with the Sludge Bomb when you're getting neutral damage with Stab? And we're just going to go ahead and fire that off again and continue on here. So Skuntank was a good Pokemon for sure, as we already knew. One of the best to lead with, seeing that it's going to be weak to just ground. The Toxicroak, on the other hand, it's a good lead, but it's very risky. And having that switch in the beginning gives your opponent the bigger upper hand if you do have a bad lead. So was very weary of entering with the Toxicroak, although it could have helped me down the line, as you will see here. So Azumarill versus Azumarill here. I did power this up today with the amazing Stardust bonus that we had, and I just said, the heck with it, I'm just going to go generic with the Azumarill here, and you know, it helped me out, but I think I could have used another Pokemon in its place and still did okay. So we're going to be bringing in the Toxicroak and hitting it up with that Sludge Bomb. He will be shielding, and I will definitely use my shield here too, seeing it's my last Pokemon, and finishing off with that Sludge Bomb there. So that is another good game. So something you need to remember, that these tournaments are rock, paper, scissors a lot of the times. You can set up your team magnificently to counter all kinds of different Pokemon that can be entered into this tournament. But at the end of the day, if you have the wrong matchups that you picked for your three that you went into that battle with, it's just not going to look good for you. So starting it off with the Venusaur on his end, and then I'm going in with the Skuntank. Did do that Flamethrower. He is going to be shielding that up. I'm going to take the hits because everything it will be dishing out to me is just going to be not very effective. It will hurt with that Frenzy Plant, but I want to preserve my shields here. He's bringing out the Nidoqueen. I am just going to go ahead and go with the Sludge Bomb, getting stabbed and kind of beta shield, I suppose, there. And we'll obviously let him take me out here. There's no point in saving that little bit of Skuntank. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring that Azumarill out. And we did have a bit of lag, just waiting for that to pass through. There was quite a bit of that actually for everybody for some reason. We're going to do that Ice Beam, super effective to ground, taking out that Nidoqueen, which was, you know, it was a pretty good choice to go with that bite, doing quite a bit of damage. And if you had Earthquake, although it's going to take forever for you to get there. So we are stuck in this mirror match here. And I do believe I didn't use any of my shields for this round. And we're just going to go ahead and go with Play Rough, doing as much damage as we can there. Although Ice Beam is not a bad option. He has no more shield, so I don't need to really bait there. And just going to let him chip away at my Azumarill. Get off another Ice Beam before I go down here. And then that's pretty much it. And good game for that one. Now I'm a little bit bummed, guys. I think I didn't perform as good as I should have for sure. So yeah, it is what it is. The Stardust investment spent way too much. I'm going to consider for next month not even thinking about doing exactly what I've been doing for the past 2 cups and just going all out, buying all these secondary moves for Pokemon, powering them up, and I never end up using them. Yeah, and it's just a big waste, although they are going to be there for some sort of other tournament in the future, or just having them in general for the Great League. Now I do lead with Skuntank yet again, and he will bring out that Roserade. He does shield it, and I'm going to go ahead and get that Flamethrower off yet again to see if he's going to burn off his shield, which he does. Now he has 0, and I have 2 Pokemon left, so I'm going to go ahead and go in here with Toxicroak, seeing that I knew that probably had Grass Knot. It's not going to be doing that much damage, although let's check it out here. Let's see how much damage it actually do. Not bad, not bad at all. And we're just going to go ahead and finish it off with the quick move and preserve that charge, because I took a risk. I had no more shields left. I was thinking, oh, hopefully I can get there first, and we're going to finish off that Wigglytuff with the Sludge Bomb. Super effective damage. Good game there. Now on to Bone Chip. All right, so he's going to be leading off with Drapion, and I really regret taking that thing off my team towards the end. And he's going to be able to get to that Aqua Tail quite quick with that Infestation. I'm going to go ahead and go with that Flamethrower being neutral damage. He is going to shield it up. And at this point I was like, okay, use your shield. I need to use mine as well. Maybe I should have used it first, but you don't want to use your shield first, right? Unless you're in a really bad situation. So we got to that Flamethrower yet again. He does take the hit, and check out how close this is. Yep, he was able to get to that Aqua Tail yet again first. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my Toxicroak. And now I'm not in a great situation. He can pick and choose what he wants, and now he has the free switch. I'm going to bring in my Azumarill because I'm not leaving Toxicroak out there with that Golbat with flying type moves. But then again, he's going to be able to switch. There you go, right into Skuntank. I will be doing that Play Rough. He will be using his last shield there. But that Poison Jab is just putting in work into that Azumarill there. I will be shielding that up because I want to get off this charge move here, of course. Hitting it up with Ice Beam, doing a decent amount of damage. But that Poison Jab is just doing work, right? Now I have my Toxicroak. At this point, I knew it was game over. He hit me up with the Flamethrower. He still has a Golbat, and yep, that's good game there for the first round. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the second one and see what we have going on here. Leading off with Skuntank yet again. Should have went with Toxicroak, but he led with the Drapion yet again. So yeah, we already know how this is going to end basically the same way. This time I decided to use my shield early and preserve my health just a little bit longer. If I use my shield now or the second charge move, it doesn't really matter. It's basically the same play as before, except for I used my shield earlier. And we're just going to hit that Flamethrower as soon as we can, because this Aqua Tail will not take us out quite yet. So at this point, it is the same play, so I have to think about what I want to do next. Is he going to have the same Pokemon? Because if it is the same style, well, the outcome is going to be like before. So I do have the same 2 Pokemon here, so I do bring in the Azumarill. Waiting for him to pick. He's bringing in that Skuntank. Yet again, the same play. So, yeah, I'm not in a good position here. That Poison Jab's just doing way too much. He does decide to take the hit at first there, because he does have a good amount of health to survive it. I'm going to hit it up with Bubble. As you can see, the Azumarill's health going down, able to get to that Ice Beam. He will be shielding that up, of course, because he does have that charge move ready to go, and why would you waste that? So he does take out my Azumarill. Now it's going to be 1 versus 1, and it looks like he won. All right, so I do go for that Desperation Sludge Bomb, and I already knew it was over. He's going to hit me up with Shadow Ball, and that is a good game, Bone Chip. Keeping it going, huh? Alright, now on to Powerlifter here. You may have seen him on my channel, as we do quite a bit of practice rounds, and I do upload those so you guys can watch them. And not doing super effective damage, I do decide to switch into the Azumarill here, seeing that he probably had Shadow Ball, and as well as that Bone Cloud as we just seen there. And I will be continuously going for that Bubble for a minute. Didn't want to get off my charge quite yet, so he will be hitting me up with that Shadow Ball, doing quite a bit of damage. Not too sure why I held on to my charge moves for so long. Do have 2 shields left, and he will be shielding that first Play Rough, and I will be going for it yet again, seeing that I had quite a bit of energy saved up. That Azumarill almost down, taking quite a bit of damage on that Toxicroak there. I do shield there. I was thinking, okay, I'll be able to take out that Toxicroak, but it wasn't really worth the shield there, to be honest. And here comes the Alolan Ninetales, something that could have helped me quite a bit going up against that last opponent. And his Golbat with that Psyshock charging extremely fast, and that Powder Snow doing super effective damage. So I was very happy with the performance of my Alolan Ninetales for sure. Wish I used it more, like I said earlier, but what's done is done. And we're going to continue on here. As you can see, that Psyshock charges so quick, and I was able to take that Bone Club and then get off that Psyshock, doing a decent amount of damage onto that Alolan Marowak. But if you notice something, he did not use one of his shields, so I still do have pretty much full health on that Skuntank, but he does hit me up with the Bone Club. But yet again, he had a shield left. We were discussing that. He was like, what did I just do? So entering the next match, he's starting it off with a Qwilfish with Water Gun, and I have Poison Jab. I am going to take this hit here, Aqua Tail, doing a good amount of damage. I will be preserving my charge moves and bringing in the Alolan Ninetales here and shielding it up because I want it to have as much health as possible. Seeing Pokemon that can charge their moves extremely quick, it's within your best interest to possibly keep them alive as long as possible if their charge move gets up there fairly quick, so you'll be able to continuously pump them out. It will make up for that shield burn there. So the Toxicroak in here, it was fairly quick, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. Shielded up yet again because I knew I'll be able to get another Psyshock off onto that Toxicroak, but he did shield, in fact, because, I mean, come on, Toxicroak will go down in one hit, even at full health if it takes that Psyshock. Bringing in the Skuntank with the Flamethrower ready to go, finishing him off here. He does have the Golbat. Here we go again, the Golbat, and I do have my Azumarill here. So let's see how much Poison Fang does. Good amount of damage, but I'm in a comfortable position. I'll be able to possibly take this win if I can get this Ice Beam off here. And let's go ahead and see how much damage. Loading. Oh yeah, here we go again with that. And it does quite a bit, and finishing off with a couple of bubbles there. So that is a good game, Power Lifter. And it was fun, and too bad he didn't use his first shield in the first round though. And on to Xanthrit. Alright, let's go. Let's see what we have. Starting it off with Toxicroak. Not good for me at all. Bringing in the Alolan Ninetales, already using my switch in a bad position already. Taking that hit because I don't want to burn off a shield and a switch quite yet. I know I said you want to preserve those Pokemon that can charge up their moves fairly quick, but I don't know. You know, the nerves are going during these battles, right? So going ahead and do that Psyshock yet again. He will be using that shield there. I don't know. Maybe he had a charge move ready to go or almost, but yeah. Anyways, bringing in the Venomoth, and I was making my decision. Going to go ahead and go with the Skuntank because it is going to be part dark, not taking that much damage from that confusion there. I will be blocking because I did have a feeling he was going to hit me out with Silver Wind, which does a good amount of damage to Skuntank for sure. Flamethrower is super effective against that Venomoth. He will be shielding here. And during this whole tournament, I didn't see anybody get a boost when they used any of these moves, so that's another thing to take note of. That's something you shouldn't be really relying on if you're trying to make a team around these things. It may change in the future, but who knows for now. Toxicroak versus Toxicroak. I already knew I was going to lose here because Mud Bomb, I've done plenty of tests, and it can't take the hit, and that's a good game for the first round. Close one there. All right, let's move on to the second one. Let's see what we have. He's starting it off with the Golbat. I'm going in with Toxicroak yet again. There we go with that risk taking. So I will be making my switch yet again in the beginning. Not a great move. He is open to switch here, and we were discussing this after the tournament was over, that he had the opportunity to capitalize on this, but he didn't, which he could have. So I'm going to continue on with my Alolan Ninetales and getting off these Psyshocks. Just crazy, one after another here. And let's go ahead and see what we have. And he's going to be finishing me off. I was contemplating whether or not I should shield, but it probably would have took me out before I got to that Psyshock. And I'm going to let him go ahead and hit me up with that Poison Fang. I'm just charging away and didn't want to use it because he had that much health left. In comes the Toxicroak. We will be hitting up with Flamethrower, doing quite a bit of damage there. And then I do have this with barely any health left, able to get off that Sludge Bomb and take out that Toxicroak. He's bringing in the Skuntank, and I have my Toxicroak from the beginning. And we're going to go ahead and do that Mud Bomb, doing quite a bit of damage and finishing off with the counter there. So yet again, another good game there. So we have the third round. This is pretty exciting. Finally, you know, he won, I won. Now let's go for the last round here. Starting it off with the Alolan Ninetales, seeing that it performed quite nice. And I keep switching it in to be replacing the Pokemon that I bring in first. So just bringing it in first right off the bat. I will be shielding this because Mud Bomb was coming there. Took quite a bit of time to get that up. I was surprised he used that. Thought he would try to bait my shield. Going to continue on here and definitely shield because I will be able to get off another Psyshock here with barely any health left, probably like 1 or 2 HP. So doing quite a bit of damage there. He used all his shields as well as myself. Now I'm in a good position here because if he picks a Pokemon, I bring out mine. If that doesn't match up for his, he's going to be forced to switch just like this. I will be hitting up that Mud Bomb and switching immediately because you don't stay out there with Venomoth going up against a Toxicroak. So we both have no more shields. And as you can see, that Silver Wind does do quite a bit of damage there. Going to hit it up with Flamethrower and take it out there. I was contemplating just continuously attacking, but if he got to that Silver Wind again, it's game over. And here we go, Mud Bomb, and how close is it? Let's see, guys. Let's see what we have here. Can I get to that Mud Bomb? Nope, nope. It is game over no matter what he uses. Crunch barely finishing me off there. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at my team here and discuss my performance. Did I like it? Was there things that I could have done differently? Well, when I was in a jam, I felt like I performed good. I just feel like it was the lineup of Pokemon, like we discussed in the beginning, guys. In Pokemon Go, when it comes down to these tournaments, when you have a decent player going up against another decent player who knows what they're doing, it's really down to who picks what and the shield timing as well. And I feel like the Pokemon that I picked for the rear could have been a lot better, like Alolan Ninetales or possibly even the Alolan Muck. Now, Skuntank is one of those Pokemon you probably want to have on your team. If you go into this tournament, Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb, and then Flamethrower, it's really up to you. You're going to want to have Sludge Bomb. You have to make the decision whether or not you want Crunch or Flamethrower. Flamethrower is good for coverage. If you go up against another Dark-type Pokemon, and also possibly Poison type, you'll be able to hit him with that Flamethrower for neutral damage, doing quite a bit. On the other hand, if you're going up against just a normal Dark type Pokemon, you can still do Sludge Bomb, but they're mixed with Poison. It's not going to be doing too much. So Skuntank can take the hits, very good. Azumarill did power this up today. I just decided, if you can't beat him, join him. Do you need it on your team? Not really. You don't really need it. It performs well, but there's things that can definitely counter in this tournament because it's going to be weak to the Poison Pokemon. So, hey, if you want to go with it, go for it, but it's, you know, pricey and everything. So it's going to have Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough on this one here. You can go with Hydro Pump if you so choose to, instead of possibly Ice Beam, but you do have coverage against those Golbats if you were to go up against them. If they had no more shields and did have Hydro Pump and were able to get to that, it would be doing massive amounts of damage, so you could possibly use that as well. The Alolan Ninetales, how did I like it? Absolutely amazing. It didn't let me down once. It did what it needed to do, and that's pretty much it. I love this Pokemon. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it. Performance great. Powdered Snow, Dazzling Gleam, Psyshock charges super fast, super effective to quite a bit of the commonly used Pokemon in this tournament, like Toxicroak and Golbat as well, and doing a lot of neutral damage to other Pokemon. But you can get walled with it, so look out. It's not some invincible almighty power here. It will be taken out quite fast by those poison types like Skuntank. And if it did have, you know, Flamethrower and or Sludge Bomb, say goodnight if you had no more shields, because it's going to be one-shotted for sure. The Alolan Muck, didn't use it once. Could have used it to go up against a Golbat, and it probably would have performed quite nicely, tanking those hits. But then the Dark Pulse would have done a good amount of damage to those Golbats for sure. So Alolan Muck, another good option. And as far as my complete team and what I have on them, am I happy what I've switched anything out? Nope, I'm pretty satisfied with this for sure. I had Drapion on here for quite some time. Literally took it off today. Replaced it with Azumarill. Like, oh my gosh. If I had to pick another Pokemon to switch it out with, possibly maybe the Dustox, which I'm really disappointed that the Dustox didn't see any action because I really wanted to test it out. I was just a little nervous using it, so I didn't bring it into battle. Toxicroak, another one of those Pokemon that you want to put on your team, kind of like Skuntank. It's just so good because you're going to have a lot of those poison types out there, which are going to have one weakness, which is going to be the ground type. Mud Bomb will have you covered there. Charges fairly quick. Counter, very strong as well. Then you have Sludge Bomb doing massive amounts of damage if you needed to get that off for some reason. But most of the time, you're going to be hitting up that Mud Bomb for sure. Counter, just doing great as well. And then my Dustox, of course, with the Silver Wind and the new boost. And if you weren't aware, you do have the attack boost indicators at the bottom there for you to see if that move does, in fact, have a boost. Once they start adding in a whole bunch of other Pokemon moves that do have these, you may want to have those indicators because it's going to start getting confusing for the people who just don't know. So that's nice. Hopefully I'll be able to use this in the next tournament and let it see some action there. So could I have thrown this in there to go up against a Golbat to help me out? Maybe, but that Golbat did have a flying type move for its quick move, so you know, it would have done quite a bit of damage. Quick moves are good if they're super effective, so that is something to look out for. But on the other hand, it does have confusion, so who knows how it would have turned out. Sludge Bomb, Silver Wind, not very effective against Golbat, but who knows, maybe I would have gotten that defense boost. Anyways, trainers, hope this helped you out for your Twilight Cup, gave you a little insight on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and Pokemon you should probably use on your team and get ready for. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.